environmental factors. Which play upon him. These give him his capacities and coloring. They give him the capacities and coloring, his temperament, profession, quality and character. So they influence the capacities and coloring his temperament, profession, quality and character. Man is above everything else, the director of personality forces. He has to understand his body, emotions and mind. So we have to make a proper understanding of our body, emotions and mind, and to dominate, control and intelligently utilize to the utmost. There are three things which body, emotion and mind. So we have to first have a proper understanding about these three elements. That is what he is telling. And then when after understanding them, we must know how to dominate them, not being dominated by them. We have to, the man has to dominate. Who is the man? The soul. When you say the man means the soul, the human being means the soul. So this, as the soul, we have to know that our real existence is as soul, not as mind, not as body. The true existence is as soul. And we have to understand these three elements, and we must know how to dominate them, how to apply them, how to utilize them for the utmost benefit. Because when there is a machine, there is an instrument, we should know how to utilize it properly. It is not the, if we could not utilize, if there is any disturbance, then that is not the fault of the machine, it is the fault of our ignorance. When we are not able to make use of the mind properly, that is due to our ignorance, but it is not the fault of the mind. We attribute all these things to mind and to this, oh, my mind is disturbing. It is not the mind that is disturbing, it is you, because you could not dominate the mind, you could not make use properly, you could not know how to make use of it. That is why.
This is the ignorance.
There is the ignorance. So we should learn that we should not find fault with others and with also these instruments for our inability. But unfortunately in our daily life, wherever there is any failure, wherever there is any unpleasantness, then we try to attribute this either to other persons or to our mind. We try to make other persons responsible for our failure. That is because we are too lazy to make a proper use of this instrument. That is the reason. So now he is more in a detailed manner explaining So how to understand the physical body then? So body, emotion, mind. So how to understand the body? Whether the body is a divine instrument or a lower instrument, first of all we have to understand. Some false philosophers, some pseudo-philosophers or false philosophers, they say that body is useless because it is full of dirt and filth and all these things. If body is useless, then the Lord who has given the body must be a useless fellow. So, by feeling that it is useless, you are making the God also useless fellow. These false philosophers, the body is the full of sins and all these things.
Uncomfortable changes have to be made.
Yes. Yes. They don't like to change the habit, therefore they attribute all these things to avoid the changes for betterment. The abode of sins, that is what they say, the false philosophers. The body is the abode of sins. It is not the abode of sins given by the higher forces. You made it as the abode of sins by your wrong behavior. You are responsible, not the law, not the nature, not the forces of nature. They have given a good instrument, but if you don't know how to properly make use of it, you have spoiled it by wrong behavior, wrong thinking and all this. Why should you find fault with the Lord of the universe?
Also, one interesting aspect is the many different fear aspects for circulating.
Yes, they are in circulation.
So,
The
solution is only that you define what is really
yes.
what you don't know.
Yes.
This is always related to
Yes.
So then we have to step in and experience exactly that.
Yes.
So I did it by myself.
Yes, everybody has to do it by themselves, by himself.
So I also want to overcome fear in the night. So I was walking in the night in the mountains.
Yes.
So
Whenever you have any sort of disturbance in the mind, then one of the best things to neutralize this is for some time go into nature. Then your mind gets tranquilized. Keep out from your daily routine to which you are enslaved. Because we are not in the yogic path, therefore we get into slavery to our routine. So the body mechanism is divine in its completion and in its scope. The instrument is a divine instrument. That is why what the masters, the rishis explained about the body, they have given a wonderful expression for this. They have given a very good analogy for us to have a right understanding about body. They said the body is a temple. Deho devalaya proktaha. Deha means body. The body is explained as devalaya means temple. Because it is the abode of God. What you call your inner self, your soul, is the part of the spirit, which is God consciousness. So it is like a temple. Your body is like a temple. And if there is a temple, then who is the altar, who is the God sitting on the altar in this? Jivaha, the soul, the individual soul. So when the body is considered to be a temple, then you must understand that the Jiva, or the individual soul, is the Lord in this temple. And he is Sanatana. This Jiva, who came in the form of Jiva, is the Deva. Deva means the Lord, the divine. The Deva himself, Lord himself, came as a dweller of this temple in the form of Jiva. So this Deva is Sanatana, means eternal. So the Jiva is also Sanatana. If the God, if Deva, if the Lord is eternal, the individual being also, his soul also is eternal. Because it is a part of this. So your body is the temple. A temple is a holy place. When do you call it a temple? As long as you keep it holy, it is a temple. And the temple, you cannot, the body is compared to a temple because the temple, you cannot own the temple. You see? And everyone can go to the temple. Nobody is forbidden. Because temple belongs to the Lord. So everyone has an access to the Lord. Nobody is denied. So temple belongs to everybody. That is why it is a holy place. So our body is the temple and the soul is the Lord in this. So deho devalaya proktaha jivo devasanatanaha. Chejed ajnana nirmalyam. But there is always a filth which is always accumulated. What is the filth? When you have a temple, there is the dust and filth and all this. You have to clean it every day. What is the filth in this body? Is ignorance. Ajnana. Ajnana means ignorance. Sanskrit ajnana, in English it is ignorance. The same word, ajnana, ignorance. So this ignorance is the filth that is accumulated in this temple always. You have to keep it, you have to clean it always. When there is a filth and dust and dirt and all is accumulating in the temple, what will you do? You try to clean this and keep the temple clean always. So also clean your ignorance. And with which instrument you clean? Because for the dust and this, you have the broomstick and all these things with the cloth, broomstick, with the detergent you clean. But what is this detergent here to clean this ignorance? Soham. Soham bhavena. Soham. I am that I am. So always you have to remind yourself that this I am is that I am only. Then the ignorance is expelled, cleaned up. So this is how the masters, they explained how you must consider about your body. So body is not a useless thing. It is very useful. That is why it is given to you. And you see how kind is the Lord, because even though you spoil this, then they take away the spoiled one and give once again a new one. How kind is the Lord, see? Again and again He is providing this instrument. The Lord is never angry and say, I don't give the instrument anymore because you have spoiled so many times. The Lord will never say that. He is so kind. Okay, I take away the one, I give new one. Cosmic love. It is cosmic love. What do you see from the Lord? Many times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times we do the same mistake, but the God is never tired and He is never angry. Yes, my dear fellow, take it once again, new one. He has a new one, always. You see, who can do that? Who can be so kind?
Even for children, even for our children.
Yes.
We can't do it.
Yes, we can't do it even with our children. Because we say, when the child spoils the toy, say, oh, new toy. But many times the child says, oh, no, now I don't give, this is the last time. But God will never do that. We have 1 or 2 children, but God has innumerable children. But even then, He is never tired. The Lord of the universe. That is why we worship the Lord of the universe. That is why we worship the Divine Mother. Because they are never tired of all the misbehavior of the beings. Again and again they give an opportunity for us. Never tired. Again and again they can manifest to help us. Again and again they come.
Takes full responsibility for putting us into the world.
Yes. Yes. Because that is what Lord said in Bhagavad Gita once again. I come down, I manifest myself again and again to bring the order again and again. And He said, that is my play. Why you are taking so much of pains to come in again and again between us? Because we are so much problematic people. But the God said, I love this. I want to play. This is my play. That is why He comes between us. He is never tired. We the human fellows are tired by very simple things. But if God is like us, He could not have continued the creation anymore. Man is created to receive impression and possesses a mechanism of contact and response to all its forms. The body is responsive to the outer world. Why is this body given to us? To respond to the outer world. This is an instrument. So, body is responsive to the outer world, to feeling, thought and intuition. Response to the outer world, feeling, thought, and intuition. Our integration and absorption into our environment and our power to acquire knowledge, develop and progress are all related to the fact. So the body should be understood as the servant of the soul. Soul is the Lord element of the Lord consciousness, and the body is this to be understood as a servant to the soul. In Sanskrit, servant is called bhrutya. Bhrutya. So it is said that how we have to remember ourselves. We have to remember ourselves as a servant of the Lord consciousness, the Lord who is in the form, who is manifested as the soul in us and also in others. Because the soul, when you know the soul, so whether it is about you or about others, soul is soul only. Because the soul is part of one spirit. So you must consider yourself as a servant. Yourself means this body. Because we are initially, we are bound to our form aspect, body. We are identified with our form. Always when we think of ourselves, we think in terms of our body only. So how to overcome this? How to raise ourselves from this limitation? By training yourself to consider that you are a servant of the soul. The body is the servant of the soul. I am the servant of the Lord. Then you will have a wonderful humility. And humility is a divine quality. And this humility helps you in getting out of the limitation and fear. This humbleness, humility, these are the divine qualities which bring you out of limitation, out of fear. Because these are the positive traits, divine traits. So Bhrutya, one of the very famous devotees of the Lord in the Vaishnava tradition, there are called Alvars. Alvar means the servant of the Lord, the devotee of the Lord, Alvar. So in one of them was a king. He is called Kulasekara. Even though he was the king, but he himself always considered as the servant of the Lord. Even though he was the king, but how he behaved with the people is that he always served all the people, not as a king on the force and this thing, but very humble. So he served all the people, considering them all the beings as the forms of the Lord. So he said he was a great poet also.
His name is Alvar.
No. Kulasekara.
What is that?
Kulasekara is the name. Alvar means the devotees. There are Alvars. Alvar is a Tamil word to denote a devotee. So this Kulasekara composed a very wonderful, appealing piece of poem to the Lord. In this he says to the Lord, O the Lord of the universe, please remember me as the last servant of all your servants. Your servant and his servant and his servant, like this. Bhrutya, Bhrutya, Bhrutya. So you remember me as the last one who is the servant of all these servants. That is the humility of this. That is why the Lord considers him as the real devotee. A real devotee is the one who will not discard others. And a real devotee is one who considers himself as the servant and devotee of the Lord in the form of all beings. That is the real devotee. Otherwise, if he is arrogant and he feels, I am the only devotee, all these are useless, they are not devotees, then he is not a devotee. He is unfit to be a devotee. So this aristocracy, when there is aristocracy, then that person cannot be a devotee. So our integration and absorption into our environment and our power to acquire knowledge, development and progress are all related to that fact about the body. And so this is, so body, the servant of the soul, is not in any way a goal or a principle. So we should not feel humiliated to apply ourselves as the servant of the soul. There is no humiliation in this. It is only humility but not humiliation. You see? We need not feel humiliated if we have to think that we are servants of the Lord in the form of the beings. Because the Lord himself, when he manifested, for example, Rama, what Rama said, ruling the kingdom doesn't mean to impose something. I feel ruling the kingdom is to worship the highest Lord consciousness in the form of on the people of the kingdom. Aradhana, he said, Rama said, Aradhana, kingdom, ruling the kingdom is, it should be an Aradhana, worship of the Lord in the form of people. That is what Rama said. That is how Rama did also. That is why he was loved by one and all. Even now, after so many lakhs of years, why we take the name of Rama? Because he was loved by one and all. Because he has won not the outer kingdom, he has won the hearts of people. By serving them, by loving them. Hostel.